Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Jamie. Today's video is all about the lessons that I've picked up since starting my online career in 2011. And had I known some of these things when I first got started, I'm sure I would have catapulted my results a lot quicker. Instead, I kind of mucked around for 7.5 years before anything finally took off. And then, of course, as some of you may know, the story, once I got really clear about what I needed to do, in just 7 days, I'd had my first $1,000 day online, followed by another one the next day, followed by my first $10,000 month, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're wanting to read the full breakdown of this post at all, feel free to go do so. It's in my free group. There's a link below. And I really just cover my journey in affiliate marketing and online marketing and digital ad strategies, all that type of stuff in my free group. So feel free to head over there and check it out if you're interested in keeping up to date. And of course, if you've got any comments regarding the stuff as I go through it, feel free to drop those in the comments below. Obviously, the more commentary I can get, the more likes I can get on this type of video, the more it's going to help out with other people seeing this content. Hopefully, some of you are going to get a bit of value out of it along the way. Now, like I say, this is really just some stuff that is I kind of just wrote about earlier. Not an entirely exhaustive list, I must confess, but anyway, that's where we're at. So effectively, this is catering to folks that are just getting started in their online journey. Maybe you're a coach or a course creator, consultant, you're an affiliate marketer, you're just looking to try and make some money online, and maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you had a couple of results, and you're sort of wondering, like, well, what do I do? What's like the fastest pathway I can traverse in order to get the results that I want, right? So if you are making a little bit of cash, maybe you're at the $5,000 per month, $10,000, maybe as high as, I don't know why I chose that figure, $14,783 per month mark. These tips are going to help you stay focused and really just get the most out of your journey as you go through it, right? So number one, quite simply, if you're not where you want to be in business, it's because you haven't grown into the person that can handle that type of business just yet. Now, this is from a gentleman by the name of Alex Sharfin, who I became familiar with through a video I saw recently from Dan Bolton. So, highly recommend you go and check out both those guys. Dan's an absolute legend. Alex, I've only just started getting into now, but seems pretty cool, and I love his content. And he speaks a lot about this stuff, and that is infinitely true. You know, I remember when I got started in 2011, and my whole thing was like, yeah, I just want some cash, and once I get the cash, then I'll do all the mindset stuff, and I'll figure out all the things that I need to do in order to be the thing that you're telling me I need to be, right? But just give me the cash first, right? So I had this thing backwards. Now the reality is that you need to be dedicated to the inner game when you're jumping into anything online, because it's going to challenge you more than a lot of other things out there. I'm not going to say it's the hardest thing you're going to do, but you're going to find yourself uniquely challenged by the process of building an online business. So that's number one. Basically, make sure that you are working on your inner game, making sure that you're aiming to build your abundance and your sense of abundance, and taking massive amounts of self responsibility as you go along. Next one is you got to focus, right? Like, I see so many folks and they're just like, cool, I'm going to do that thing now. And you're like, sweet. And then the next week they're off doing something else. And you're like, hang on a minute, I thought you were doing that. And so the way to think about this is, every time, if you're heading in one direction, right? And just like the band, and if you're heading in one direction and all of a sudden you think, you know what, I'm going to pivot, and I think there's a better option that way, that's a better traffic source, that's a better mechanism of conversion, then I'm going to go check that out. And every time you do that, guess what? You are moving your momentum the other way, right? So you're going in this direction, you're pushing hard, and you're doing the thing, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're straight back the other way, right? So the more you can focus and dedicate yourself to that one singular pathway, the better your results are going to become. And that is going to happen quicker than you might anticipate, especially if you are super, super focused. Now, a little thing that I tell my students is quite simply, you only need one platform to start with, one traffic source. Could be Facebook. I do most of my stuff over on Facebook. I have obviously expanded onto the tubes. I've also got some Instagram stuff happening, Twitter to a lesser extent, and LinkedIn to a lesser extent as well. Why is that though? Well, I've been doing this for ages. I have a team. I can spend more time producing content, getting that syndicated. A little bit different for me because I'm building out my ecosystem slowly but surely. For everyone else that's getting started, literally you just need one, right? Just pick one, they all work. Everything works. So like, there's no better than the other, in my opinion. I think they all work. You need one offer, right? You need a high ticket offer specifically. One offer that's going to pay you at least 500 to $1,000 per sale. And of course, when you do that, it just means that you're going to be closer to hitting your goals earlier, right? Otherwise, you have to have a bigger audience and drive that volume through. Both of which have the goods and bads. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but if you are sticking to the high ticket thing, like, make sure it's just one to start with. Like I say, you can always bend and fold and get in other offers as you go through this pathway. Number three, really simple, stick with one conversion method. It could be as simple as like this nice little beast here, this little Google Doc. I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff just with a Google Doc. I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff just with the DMs, right? I've sold millions through phone calls. They all work. Just stick with one and just keep going until you nail it. And once you do, start getting a little bit bored, you want to add some special sauce in there, go and figure that stuff out then. But until that point, absolutely no point in deviating. Um, so the other thing as well is, like, don't look at the people that are sort of like above you on the ladder, so to speak, and then neglect to notice the path that they've actually walked. Like, it's really, really powerful. If you think about like how we're exposed to marketing, you might look at some of my content, you might look at other people that are doing well in the industry, and you think, they told me that I should do this. They told me that I should be going out and doing that stuff, and that's completely fine. But the thing is that you need to look at it in isolation. You need to look at all the things that are happening. It might be that they have an opinion based on the fact that they've walked this path to get to that point. They might have had an opinion based on these things that these factors that have happened to build $100,000 audience. And they're saying that to you, and you're like, yeah, but I've got no audience, and this is, I think I should do that as well. And it might be the way to go. I'm not saying it's not, but don't look at where they're at and then just forget the fact that they've walked that path before you. Right, so a lot of people, they want to skip the queue. They're like, oh, that guy's doing that thing, so I'm going to do that thing as well, rather than actually just cutting your teeth by going through the weeds and getting things sorted to that degree, right? Um, Another one is, you really need to stop using avoidance measures to not do the work. This is something I see play out quite often, and it's really, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with it, but I see it play out a lot. I've experienced it in my own business. Remember, when you're pointing fingers, three of them are pointing back at yourself, right? Now, the thing with that is, if you're avoiding stuff, if you're feeling it pop up that you are avoiding doing the work, and this could be in really simple ways, like you're meant to write a piece of content, but instead you end up mucking around with cat videos on Instagram, or like you're meant to be going and DMing 100 people to get your 100 per day done, but then you're like, oh no, because there's something popping up for you, like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. Right now, one thing is, it could be fear, it could be, I'm scared of approach, and whatever the hell it is. More often than not, it's actually fear of success. There's like an internal bubble that we have, and we're confined by that. We're worried that if we accidentally step outside that bubble, we're going to become a new person. That scares the shit out of a lot of us, right? So what we'll do is we will avoid doing the work, which could then end up propelling us towards that. So instead, we'll just avoid it and we stay nice and comfy. Ah, thank God, don't have to do anything. Phew. Um, and the thing that I often hear from students, and I'd love to say this is not the case, but quite often it's like, oh no, that does. I tried that, it didn't work. Like, are you fucking kidding? Of course it fucking works. Like, it all works. The thing is that it's just within the person. That's why it's not working. They went, oh no, it doesn't. It feels. I'm not doing that. And that you're never going to get successful if you have that attitude, because then all you're doing is you're denying the pathway that lies ahead of you, especially if you've jumped into a high ticket thing and you've committed, because purely by transactional value, you've committed to making that happen. And then you start going, oh no, like, oh, that just, I tried it, doesn't, it's got to be an easy way. There might be an easy way, easier way, but you're also better off just going through the process, especially if it's a pathway that has been well walked before you by dozens, if not hundreds of others, to go do that, right? And then at least you've got choices, because you've actually walked that yourself, and then you can go, cool, well, now I've got a bit of an audience there. Maybe I don't want to do these things anymore. Maybe I want to outsource a whole bunch of that stuff. But you need to just, get in the weeds and actually figure that stuff out first. So yeah, it kind of makes me a bit mad. Obviously, I'm a little bit passionate about this stuff. And so, like I say, a lot of us have an internal fear of success. It's actually, in my opinion, probably more powerful than a fear of failure a lot of the time. And so you know, a lot of folks they'll work on things like nice logos, or they'll just absolutely pencil folk the color schemes out of things like, oh, this teal works really well. Should it do that? Blah blah blah. And the reality is that none of it really matters. You can adjust on the fly. Like, you know, I'm not saying like completely disregard your brand colors, things like that. But if you look at like building a business, like what's more important is getting in front of folks and delivering some type of value, and then as a contrast or a byproduct of that, sorry, selling them that thing which is going to help provide that solution for their problems, right? That's the thing that's going to bring revenue into your business, and revenue brings confidence and cash flow. Confidence and cash flow. And once you've got those two, then you can start spending a little bit more time making it look polished, right? If you look at, say, for example, earlier iterations of YouTube, earlier iterations of Facebook, Instagram, etc., etc. Now, of course, they building something that was working, usable, and value for people. Then over time, became more polished, became better, became more efficient. There's different features. They take away other features they don't think are warranted anymore. Sometimes really frustratingly. But anyway, it's a story for another time. So the point being is that go and take that imperfect action to get the stuff done and stop avoiding doing the work. If you do feel anything when you're listening to this, you feel like, oh, that sounds a little bit like me, it's completely cool. We've probably, a lot of us have all done it. So it's not about like berating yourself, going, oh, I'm such a shit human being. Oh, like, damn it, he's so right. And if I am, then kudos, that's fine. Like, at least you can acknowledge that. Then all you need to do is give yourself a bit of a hug. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. That's completely pointless. What you want to do is instead think of, okay, well, I can accept and acknowledge that I've had this pattern of behavior for a little while. What do I need to do in order to stop this behavior or minimize and start moving towards a more productive style of behavior? What mechanisms can I put in place to empower myself to stop avoiding doing the work? Right, and that's a choice that we all have. Right, the other part of this is this internal fear of success can often lead to a sense of cowardice for people, and these are people that are like, not only are they sometimes avoiding doing the work, that is sometimes part of it. Sometimes what they're also doing is they will renege on a commitment, right? So they'll go, cool, I'm going to do this thing. You're like, sweet, that sounds great. And then because it's something like popping up, like, oh, I'm gonna have to change now, I have to do this thing, this is really freaking scary, then they avoid that altogether. It's an avoidance mechanism because they know once they break this, you know, they're knocking on the glass ceiling, once they break through it, that scares the shit out of them. So they'll self sabotage to the point where they won't give back to their mentor, or they will freak out and they'll do a chargeback or something on a program because they know that it's going to work. And if it does work and they make all this cash and they do this thing, they're outside of the bubble. They're out there floating in space going, oh, this is freaking scary. What if my friends and family don't accept me? Oh, that's going to suck. Get some new ones. Don't worry about it. Just kidding. I can relate. I can empathize. But if you feel yourself in these words, all is not lost. You have a conscious decision to make whether or not that's how you're going to roll moving forward, right? That's up to you. Number 5, do what your mentor or coach tells you to do. Now, look, hand on heart, I'd love to say I'm the perfect mentor. I'm like the perfect coach, but I'm not. That's just it. I have a weird way of communicating. Not everyone's going to resonate with my way of thinking. I've cussed about 4 times throughout this video, shock horror. So some people genuinely get offended by that. Sometimes I get told I speak too fast, you know, all sorts of reasons. And in spite of the value that I'm able to give, some people just can't, they're not ready to hear that message yet as well, right? So I'm completely fallible. This is like, welcome to coaching. You're not going to be everyone's number one all the time. It's just matter of fact, a part of it. But having said that, I always think if I have invested, here's like $5,000 for the coaching, here's $10,000 for the coaching, 20,000, whatever it is for the coaching. And then on the other side of that, I've handed over the money and I'm like, cool, well, I'm going to, this person's going to save the day. Maybe, yeah, maybe. But end of the day, it's up to the individual to actually listen to what the coach or mentor is saying and then remove their own ego and their own thing that's saying, oh, but you've always done it that way. Oh, you should never do it that way. And that person over there said that. No, because in that moment, you have paid that person a lot of money in a lot of cases to learn the thing. So why the fuck would you then go, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to do what they tell me then? Why? 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 How is that going to get you closer towards your goals? Right? So if again, if you hear yourself in these words, just understand that you can make a conscious choice. And it's really freaking hard. And one of the reasons why I'm super passionate about this stuff is because, full transparency, I used to do the same. It's okay. You can learn. You can unlearn your behavior. It's cool. You can change. You can evolve. You're like a beautiful butterfly, but you're a little caterpillar, bang, butterfly. We can all do it. So, little side story on this one. My very good buddy and very good friend and mentor, Jacob Karras, is a prime example of this. He met me in 2019, and he was someone that was doing exceptionally well in affiliate marketing at the time. He's since moved on to do some pretty awesome consulting work and various things. We've built, well, sorry, he built and we together teamed up to with Chris Donnelly to smash out the Super Affiliate Accelerator. It's the award behind me there, over $1 million through that, which is awesome. But earlier on in the piece, when we met in 2019, he gave me some advice, which was ironically really similar to the advice that I said earlier in the piece, which is one offer, one method of conversion, and one traffic source, right? So I was like, what can I do? But in those days, what happened was I was like, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a really good idea. And I was so shit scared. Like I was so shit scared of letting go of these projects that I'd been working on. I've been building out a course. There was two courses I built. I built out two of them. It took me 8 months each. And the first one flopped. So I thought, oh, I just need to work really, 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 really freaking hard on this other one and make it perfect, perfect, perfect as best as I could. And so I did. 8 months worth. And I finally launched. And nothing happened. I made like $200. It was like, that's a disproportionate amount of time to the energy return that I got. It kind of sucked actually, and the cash flow return, I should say. Now, what I came to realize is I don't think I'm an egotistical person, but we all have an ego. Most of us have an ego, and mine was basically telling me like it's a great idea what this person is telling me, but I feel like I need to finish off these projects before I move forward. Now, finishing off the projects were the course. But what was really happening from a psychological basis was my ego was stepping in and basically saying, look, it's a great idea, but like I've spent so much time and energy doing this stuff, I'm not ready to let it go yet. I have all these funnels, all these traffic sources, all these things I've been working on. I'm like been working so freaking hard to then accept that I have to let go of that in order to change, in order to actually get the success that I want, means that I have to let go of the fact that it didn't work, right? I just had not let go. I had to accept the fact that it didn't work. And then that means that I take it on personally. So therefore my ego gets bruised. So instead it goes, no, fuck that. I'm going to shut up the doors and I'm just going to go do this other thing. And then eventually what happened was I was so unbelievably broke. I was like, fine, you win. I will go and just deploy the information like linear as per the instructions. And guess what? 7 days. 7 days it took for my first $1,000 day. Right? 7 days. Didn't fluke it. Turns out there was another one the next day. Thought I'm flying. This is incredible. First $10,000 month, later led to $10,000 days, later led to $51,000 months, later led to $1 million awards, you name it, right? Etc. Why? Focus and everything I've just told you guys. So the other part of it is the reality is that you cannot control a person. Under most circumstances, like I can't control whether or not people are watching to this point. The drop off rate will probably be a minute and a half, maybe a minute. I would love it if everyone watches to the end, but it's just not the reality. Why? A whole bunch of reasons. I may have offended people with certain things I've said. Other people are like looking for big flashbang screen things. Maybe I'm not super polished, so people get pissed off with that. All of which I don't really care, as per the rest of my entire channel, apart from a few videos. So the reason for why am I doing that then? Why would I painstakingly create video after video after video after video after video, to the point of what 700 plus videos are on this channel. I think there's maybe about 500-ish that are public. A whole bunch of them are like just for private clients and things like that. Why would I go to that extreme if there's not like a tangible benefit on the other side of it? And here's what's happening. I don't really use my YouTube channel to get a whole bunch of leads. Like I have leads. I've gained quite a few leads. I've even had people. I'm probably going to say this channel would have made, I don't know, conservatively, let's say 40, 50, maybe 100K by now, something like that. Not because I'm getting like a whole bunch of watch time, a whole bunch of views, a whole bunch of all that type of stuff. What's happening is I'm deepening the relationship that I have with people. But I still can't control that. I can't control if people are going to watch this point. So again, why would I do it? Because what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the inputs that are going to dictate the outcomes. I can control how many videos I put out. I can control the value I'm trying to get across. I can control how many leads I'm getting through, say, Facebook organic marketing. And go add a whole bunch of friends. I can control that to an extent. These are the tangible things I can control. And what happens is when I'm aiming to put my concentration towards that, I'm detaching from what else is happening on the other side. I can't control whether or not I'm going to get a $20,000 a month. Can't control whether I'm going to get a $50,000 a month. I can't control, even if I'm really good at sales, really good at content, really good at copywriting, all of which I am, I still can't control if that person decides to buy. It could be other things that I can't control, like interest rates, like debt levels, like health concerns, like timing, like all that stuff is out of my control. The only thing I can control is what I choose to put into my business, the metrics that I choose to put in there. And the more that I concentrate on those, the more that I'm concentrating on those metrics, the number of people I'm adding to my audience, the number of offers I'm making to my people, the way in which that I'm structuring my offers and my sales content in order to get people to jump into certain things, that's what I can control. And interestingly, when I'm focused like that, I'm detached from the outcome. When you detach from it, I think I've written it down here, detachment releases fear. You're releasing the fear of money or not having money in this case. And the crazy thing is that when you do and you don't fear money at all, it shows up. It's just there. It just happens to be there. It works because you're not worried about it. You're worried about the things that you can control. How many offers am I making? How many people am I following up with? How many new leads am I getting in? How many people are going through my sales process? Can I update my sales process so it's more refined? Yes. Can I get better at my copy? Yes. Tangible inputs I can control, right? So if you are able to do this stuff, you're going to cut your pathway to success down to sometimes weeks, not months or years. It took me 7.5 years to finally get all this stuff. And I swear, if you're able to absorb some of the stuff I've spoken about today and deploy it in your business and focus on the things that don't change, the offers, sales, marketing, content creation, copywriting, things like that, that are all based on humans, right? And as well as working on the inner game. And if you do all that stuff, then you're going to have a very successful career online. So like I say, I'd love to know your thoughts. Any comments below, feel free to leave them. I do get back to everyone that does leave a comment. Otherwise, feel free to click the link, join my free Facebook group. And like I say, I really just document what I've done over the last sort of 12 plus years at this stage in that community. And yeah, if you want to chat about how I can help you and how I've helped over 900 students smash it through high ticket affiliate marketing and coaching, then reach out. Details below. All right, guys, you have a good one, and see you in the next one.